Chapter 76. Time for reflection. Progress marches on. But what about the silent lake? A first disclaimer. All persons in this book are fictional. All claims, regardless of topic, are precisely that, claims. Some are rooted in empirical facts, while others are pure imagination. My aim is to balance vision and reality, fiction and fact, in such a way that the audience can recognize themselves and continue developing the abundance of ideas and inventions. The book has no ambition to proclaim an overarching truth, but rather to question accepted truths. In that way, in a Socratic spirit, the rest is left to the audience. Now it was time for reflection. We visited Arnfinn in his solitary position in a small apartment in Oslo. Arnfinn had been retired for 7 years. His memory was outstanding. He remembered details from childhood and could create videos and animations of detailed historical events. He had the ability to travel back in time, to relive precise moments, even to recall the scent of the blueberries he picked with his mother and sister on a clear autumn day. Arnfinn was a living encyclopedia. I have remembered in detail everything I had read and learned. Some people were irritated by Arnfinn. He remembered dates and times with such lexical precision that they questioned the reliability of his memory. What not many were aware of, however, was how Arnfinn himself processed this empirical knowledge. Most simply recorded that he was a rare soul in this regard. But beyond that, they were unable to examine the fabric of his exceptional memory. Arnfinn himself, however, engaged in many reflections. Over the course of a long life, he had built good routines. Routines should promote growth, not end up as bad habits. Yet sadly, routines often become bad habits. Arnfinn struggled with this. He had found one routine that proved fruitful: meditation. I set aside 30 minutes every day for meditation. At first, it was difficult to manage 30 minutes daily. There was always so much else that seemed more important. But he believed it was important and began to create a schedule. Not just a schedule, but a promise, a motivational vow. He stretched out his hand to the very sun god and declared that meditation would take place every day in accordance with the solar cycle and its gradual influence on life on Earth. Arnfinn lay down on his meditation bench. He has closed his eyes. Now we enter Arnfinn's mind, and he will describe what happens. I see a dark grey wall. Nothing happens before my eyes. Let's say my inner eyes. I hear no sounds, only a faint hum from the refrigerator in the kitchen, switching on and off at intervals. No problem. A small light appears on the grey dark wall in my inner vision. I make no effort to focus on the light, but it grows. I focus on my breathing, regular inhalation and exhalation. It is simple. I know some experience this as meaningless. We breathe all the time, so what's the point? My dear friend, breathing is the most important thing in your life. Are you not aware of that? If you do not breathe, you are finished. Arnfinn focused on the breath, not on the growing light on his retina. He began to hear sounds far away, distant bells and cymbals. I have remained passive. Now Arnfinn himself tells what happened. I let all events unfold without my participation. They were relatively small events. I did not deliberately try to generate anything. But I remained focused on my breathing. I had minimal knowledge of Eastern philosophy and religion, other than having read Hermann Hesse's book Siddhartha *, A Gateway to Spiritual Exploration. I was in the midst of what Hesse recommended, the present moment. I tried to shut out all memories of the past. I tried to shut out speculation about the future. Now was the moment that mattered. But it was difficult to block out the memories of a long life. They were so vividly present. I thought, it is an important part of me. My memory represents my lived life. Therefore, it became easier to accept that memory knocked on the door now and then, even during meditation. Over the course of the meditation, many events arose. The most prominent was the sound of the distant bells, but also the steadily growing light in the gray sky. I let this happen. I could have interrupted and stopped everything, got up, gone into the kitchen, and prepared a small dish, but I didn't. I allowed the meditation to last a full 40 minutes. Then I got up, went into the kitchen, and prepared the intended small dish consisting of smoked mackerel, a slice of toasted bread, and a small bowl of fresh vegetables.